One man's trash is another man's evidence. This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
It was the phone call that changed everything. Mopreme Shakur, Tupac Shakur's brother, was on the line with Sean Diddy Combs, a voice he had known well from the 90s rap scene. But this wasn't a call about music, fame, or any of the glory days of hip-hop. It was about death. Specifically, the death of his brother Tupac's, gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in 1996. Diddy wanted to talk. He wanted to make one thing clear. He wasn't involved. But as Mopreme listened to the mogul's voice on the other end of the line, something about the words just didn't sit right. Even now, years later, those doubts have never left him. And with Diddy's recent arrest on sex trafficking charges, Mopreme and his family wonder if they're finally on the brink of discovering the truth behind one of the most famous unsolved murders in history. Could there be more to Diddy's past than anyone ever imagined? The murder of Tupac is one of the most infamous unsolved cases in modern pop culture. The rapper was at the height of his career when, on a September night in 1996, he was gunned down. The head of his record label, Death Row Records, a white Cadillac pulled up next to them at a stoplight, and shots rang out, bullets that would change the course of hip-hop forever. Tupac died 6 days later in the hospital, leaving behind a legacy of groundbreaking music and a mystery that has never been solved. In the years since his death, the rumor mill has churned, pointing fingers at everyone from rival gangs to record executives. But one name has never been far from the conversation: Sean Diddy Combs. At the time of Tupac's murder, Diddy was climbing to the top of the East Coast rap scene, managing artists like the notorious B.I.G. and playing a central role in the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry that many believe contributed to Tupac's death. Now, with Diddy facing his own legal battles, including sex trafficking and racketeering charges, those whispers have grown louder. Could Diddy have played a part in orchestrating the hit on Tupac? It's a question Mopreme Shakur and his family are now determined to answer. Mopreme recently sat down for a one-on-one interview with Piers Morgan, revealing for the first time the extent of his suspicions about Diddy's potential involvement in his brother's murder. He spoke candidly about the toll the unsolved case has taken on his family. For years, they've been haunted by rumors and speculation, but they've never stopped searching for answers. And now they've decided to take matters into their own hands, hiring a prominent attorney to dig into Diddy's past and finally get to the truth. But this wasn't the first time Mopreme had confronted the idea that Diddy might be involved. In 2008, Diddy himself reached out to Mopreme, asking to speak with him. The call came after years of rumors had circulated that Diddy had orchestrated the hit on Tupac. According to Mopreme, Diddy called him out of the blue, saying he had nothing to do with Tupac's murder. But even as Diddy tried to clear his name, Mopreme felt something wasn't right. There was a hesitation in Diddy's voice, a lack of conviction. At the time, Mopreme told Diddy, "The truth is still yet to come out." More than 20 years have passed since that conversation, and Mopreme still has his doubts. He told Morgan that he doesn't believe Diddy was being 100% truthful during their call. Now, with Diddy's arrest in September 2024 on sex trafficking charges, Mopreme feels it's time to revisit those suspicions. Diddy's arrest has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. The once iconic hip-hop mogul has been accused of orchestrating a criminal empire that allegedly involved sex trafficking, prostitution, and coercion. The charges are serious: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. With over 120 alleged victims coming forward, Diddy's once glamorous life has been overshadowed by scandal and legal troubles. As the criminal case against Diddy mounts, the Shakur family has hired Alex Spiro, a high-profile attorney known for his work on celebrity cases, to investigate whether there could be a link between Diddy's alleged criminal activities and Tupac's murder. Spiro, who recently made headlines representing Alec Baldwin in the Rust shooting case and defending New York City Mayor Eric Adams against bribery charges, will lead a team of investigators to re-examine the circumstances surrounding Tupac's death. For years, speculation about Diddy's involvement in the murder has persisted. One of the most damning allegations came from Dwayne Keith Davis, also known as Keith D, a former gang member who was arrested in 2023 in connection with Tupac's murder. Keith D has long claimed that Diddy was behind the hit, allegedly offering him $1 million to kill Tupac and Death Row Records boss Suge Knight. Though Keith D was the only person charged in the case, many, including Mopreme, believe that others were involved and that Diddy's role should be investigated further. In his interview with Piers Morgan, Mopreme was careful with his words, refusing to outright accuse Diddy of orchestrating the murder. Instead, he emphasized the need for a thorough investigation, stating that there were too many unanswered questions and too many theories that needed to be explored. He acknowledged that the theory involving Diddy is quite high on the list, but stressed that the investigation must be allowed to run its course before any final conclusions are drawn. Everybody knows the suspicions. Everybody knows the theories, Mopreme said. But we're going to see. For Mopreme, the arrest of Keith D was both surprising and frustrating. While he was glad to see some movement in the case after nearly 3 decades, he couldn't help but wonder why it took so long and why only Keith D was arrested. There's a lot of questions I had, he told Morgan. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, being it had been so long and these individuals had been known about for quite some time. One of those questions revolves around Diddy's relationship with Keith D. The former gang member has repeatedly claimed that Diddy was the mastermind behind the hit on Tupac, a claim that Diddy has always denied. But with Diddy now facing serious legal charges unrelated to Tupac's murder, the timing of Keith D's arrest has raised eyebrows. Could there be a connection between Diddy's alleged criminal activities and the murder of Tupac? It's a question that the Shakur family hopes to answer once and for all. The East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 1990s, which pitted Tupac and his West Coast allies against Diddy and his East Coast crew, has long been seen as a contributing factor in the murder. Tupac believed that Diddy and the notorious B.I.G., Diddy's top artist at the time, were involved in a 1994 robbery that left Tupac shot and wounded. The bad blood between the two camps escalated from there, culminating in the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie in eerily similar drive-by shootings just months apart. While Biggie's murder has also remained unsolved, many believe that the two killings are connected, with the rap rivalry at the heart of both crimes. For Mopreme and the rest of the Shakur family, Diddy's potential involvement in the murder is more than just a theory. It's a possibility that has haunted them for years. And now, with the help of Alex Spiro and his team of investigators, the family is determined to get to the bottom of it. Spiro, known for his tenacity in high-profile cases, is already digging into the details of the East-West rivalry, looking for any connections that might link Diddy to the crime. It's a long shot, but for the Shakur family, it's a shot worth taking. As Mopreme waits for the investigation to unfold, he remains cautiously optimistic. He knows that finding the truth after all these years won't be easy, but he believes it's possible. "I'm not saying nothing until this investigation is over," he said. "Then we will see what it is." For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. Already facing the fight of his life with the sex trafficking charges, the last thing he needs is another major investigation into his past. But for Mopreme and the rest of the Shakur family, it's about more than just justice for Tupac. It's about closure. It's about finally knowing what happened on that fateful night in Las Vegas and whether one of the biggest names in hip-hop played a role in it. As Diddy prepares for his trial in May 2025, the world will be watching, not just for the outcome of the sex trafficking charges, but for any new revelations about his involvement in Tupac's death. Could the man who helped shape the face of hip-hop also have played a part in one of its darkest moments? And in the end, we're left with the question that's been asked for nearly 3 decades. Was Tupac's murder part of a larger conspiracy, or was it simply the result of a deadly feud between rival rappers? As the truth inches closer, we can't help but wonder, will we ever really know?
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface,
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
where hidden killers roam unnoticed in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Bruschi as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.